Hey everybody, Tim Brahim with Performance Experts Coaching and Leadership 360 with another business and life tip for you. And today I have a very special guest, a gentleman who I've known for about 3 years now, who I've had the pleasure of working with, Brent Hicks out of Dallas, Texas. And I want to tell you a little bit about Brent, and then I'll lob a question his way and he'll do the teaching. Brent was in the mortgage business well over a decade ago and was one of the nation's top producers. In fact, he had 1 year in particular where he funded over 1,000 loans. And then in about 2007, he got out of the business, and he was out of the business for roughly 6 years. Didn't have his database, didn't have any of his realtor contacts, re-entered the business as an originator back just 3 years ago. And check out these numbers. I mean, starting from scratch just 3 years ago, Brent's on track to fund $70 million this year and about 250 loans in just his third year back in the business. And once again, that's starting from scratch. And one of the ways that Brent has gone about this, and having gotten to know him, is that he really embodies the philosophy of taking every single transaction seriously and looking at it as the beginning of a long-term relationship with that client. So Brent, thanks for joining us. And the question is really simply this: for the viewers that are watching, when they do a loan for someone, what are 3 or 4 things that you really passionately believe in are essential and critical to creating disciples, as you refer to them? And maybe you can even distinguish the difference between a disciple and somebody who's just a happy customer.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on, Tim. One of the things that we did when I was really going back and looking at my business and the business that I had built in the past, we would close 100 something units every month, but I was really focused on the units, and I was transactional. After reading Simon Sinek, Starts With Why, it really changed my paradigm. It changed my life and how I viewed things and how I viewed interacting with people that I would have people that wouldn't respect my time, wouldn't respect me. I was abused. I mean, I got burnt out on the mortgage business, and I burned myself out on it because I didn't have those type of people that had the same core values that I had. And so over the 6 or 7 years that I was building my traditional business, looking at how I'd get back in the mortgage business, I really became focused on I wanted to build a higher level of clientele. I wanted to even get the word past client out of my nomenclature. Spencer Johnson's got raving fans, and raving fan is an acceptable level of someone that we've done business with, but we wanted to get to a level that's above that. And we believe that there is a level above raving fans, and that is discipleship. That's somebody who, you've done so much for, they want to repay you, and their reticular activator goes off. It's not a traditional referral that comes from somebody who becomes a disciple. It's not when someone says, "Who did you use for your mortgage?" and they go look through their Rolodex and they come up with a card and say, "Call this guy or gal." It's they're walking through their office. They're on an elevator and they hear mortgage, refinance. They hear anything, and that reticular activator goes off, and they edify us in a way that decommoditizes the commodity business that we're in. That they give us a testimonial that transfers their belief and their conviction. So when somebody calls us, we've already been pre-sold, right? We've been edified in a way that's not traditional in this business. And what I really learned is after I got out of the mortgage business and I was building my direct sales businesses, I didn't focus on the way people felt, right? We had all these processes and these systems, and I had all these great things that went on, but I got away from the emotional side of emotional human beings and who we are. People don't, Maya Angelou, what I love when she says, people don't remember what we say. They remember how we made them feel. And so when we got back in, we wanted to focus in on a process that made people feel amazing, that naturally brought them through discipleship. And it was with intention. And we wanted to spend, up to 3 years building disciples. After we close the loan with people, we typically, as salespeople, we move on. And I had always done that. I moved on to the next kill and the next kill and the next kill and the next kill. Well, I already spent all this time, money, and energy into getting to know somebody. Why wouldn't I invest more time into them and really make them feel special? So, we do all the things that we're supposed to do. We've got all those pieces of the puzzle together, but we focus in on the intangibles. And, I see you, I hear you, and you matter to me. We gift people, and we gift people in an authentic fashion. We do things, for me, year one, after I close a client along that path of discipleship, I'm going to send them 5 gifts. Year 2, I'm going to send them 3 gifts. And every year in perpetuity, I'm going to send them a birthday gift. And we don't cheapen it, right? I don't want to put, we love referrals. I don't want to put my brand all over it. I want to send them something that just says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you and your family. I hope you're doing amazing. I hope you enjoy your holiday, and let this maybe help you along that path." they want to reciprocate. And so we focus on every facet of our business, whether it's real estate agents, whether it's people in our sphere of influence, whether it's past clients. We always look for opportunities to make people feel amazing. And if we see on Facebook, whatever it is, we're trying to take online and do offline things that create connection from the very beginning. I mean, when we get a prospect thank you cards, to approval gifts, to closing gifts.
So how much do you spend? I'm just kind of sitting here listening to all of this and thinking, okay, the average person that's sitting on there, they say, well, but that costs a lot of money. And, can I afford that? So first question is, in that year that you send them 5 different gifts, how much approximately do you spend in that year? And then what's your philosophy about the expenditure of that money?
So I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna go with your second question first, because really I think it's a very subtle change, but it means everything. I don't spend anything. I invest. I don't look at it as me spending any money in my business, because it's my business. I'm investing in it. And I can tell anybody on this call, anyone who'll ever see this, the more you invest in your business, the more you make, period. I believe in principle of paying yourself first. Invest in yourself, invest in others. The Richest Man in Babylon, that book changed my life more than any book. And it taught me that principle. Even before tithing, somebody should invest in themselves, pay themselves first, and invest in others. So we'll invest non-negotiable into every client. We'll invest $100 throughout the process. So that means between the handwritten thank you card, to the approval gift, to the closing gift, we do $100 worth of gifting there. And then at time of close, we'll make a distinction between a future disciple, which is a level 1, or a level 2, which is somebody that just the process didn't, we just didn't really fit, right? Something happened, or they just didn't appreciate it. And so we discern that. A level 1, the first year, I'm going to spend another $100 into gifting. Year 2, I'm going to spend $60 into gifting. And then every year after that, I'm going to spend about $10 into the gifting aspect. I'm going to invest it. I'm not going to spend.
Yeah, that's the key thing, man. I mean, so many people just keep going back out and trying to create new relationships instead of nurturing the ones that they already have. So thank you, man. That was really awesome. I'm sure that, you're such a great teacher, and I know that there's so many more questions I could ask you, but for the sake of keeping these business and life tips tight, I'll just finish by asking you one final question. Is anything that comes to mind that you've learned from being in the L360 family, and what would you say to somebody who is interested in applying to be a part of this thing that we do together?
So back to the principle we just talked about, invest in yourself, invest in others, right? We need to invest in ourselves. And what I find is so many times we get caught in our own domain, we get caught in our own environment, and we don't get ourselves around other people that stretch the way that we think, right? That stretch who we are as individuals. And, find someone that has what you want. Tony Robbins says this: find someone that has what you want, do exactly as they do, and you'll get the same result. Modify it, and you'll get a modified result. What I love first and foremost is I was attracted to you, Tim. I mean, you had what I had wanted, right? You had massive success in this business, and you're an amazing teacher, right? You had built processes and systems. And so initially I was attracted to you and what I could learn from you. And then what I rapidly found is you surround yourself with other coaches and other people that had helped me throughout my life and are helping me right now throughout my life, but also the masterminding principle. The level of quality of people in these groups is at a whole nother level, right? So I'm not surrounding myself with C and D players that are pulling me down. Have surrounded myself in these groups with people that stretch me, that stretch the way that I think, that stretch who I am. And I always take away amazing nuggets. And I'm not taking away amazing nuggets. I'm actually getting content from them. It's a family of people that want to come from a place of abundance, not from scarcity. And when you surround yourself with people that are abundant, nobody's competing against one another. Everybody is there to help each other. And by helping each other, they help themselves. And so if there's a script, if there's a process, if it's anything that anybody in the group has ever had, they've just, it just flows right through them. And now I don't have to go recreate it. And so 1 + 1 through this, it doesn't equal 2, it equals 5, it equals 10. So, yeah. I mean, it's been amazing for me. Our business in a large part has been part of being part of your group. And I would tell you, anybody listening to this, you'd be crazy not to join L360 and join this family, because it really is a family. And Tim has shepherded this and mastered bringing people together, and the glue that he puts on people, people stay together. And it's, if you're able to get in, you absolutely should.
Wow, man, thank you. I'm almost a little bit uncomfortable with how unbelievably strong of an endorsement that was. I really appreciate that, man. And I'm really, more importantly, I'm just glad to hear that you feel that way. So, thanks, Brent, very much
You're
for taking
welcome, brother.
the time, brother. And
Thanks.
to all of you watching, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you're having a beautiful week. We'll be back at you next week, as we always do, with some more business and life tips. And thanks again. Bye-bye, everyone.